What's going on, guys? So today on this SHOKY review, we're continuing on with the UCHU SENTAI KYURANGER reviews, and we have a tag team of Voyagers here, and we have the TENBIN Voyager and the HEBITSUKAI Voyager. That's the scales and the snake or cobra, whichever way. And I got these, I believe, off of eBay, or I got one of them specifically off of eBay, and the other one I think I managed to scavenge off of Amazon. I'm not entirely certain. But I remember I didn't think I was going to get both of them there for a minute, because one was getting really, really hard to find. And if I recall, it came all the way from Japan as well. That might have been the TENBIN Voyager here. So this is the gold and the silver boys is really what it comes down to. And like I mentioned before, you know, we do get individual little rangers in this, and they all have their own specific thing. So these two do kind of come as a pair, not literally. You do have to buy them separately. Would have been cool if they were just a pair in a box, but it is what it is. So on the front, of course, you do get the toy itself. You get the Q-Tamas there. You get an individual shot of each ranger there with their very, very cool helmets. By the way, the stupid Cosmic Fury ranger suits are nothing compared to the actual Kyuranger suits. And then, of course, you do have a version of Kurano right there with the different rangers on it. And so we will switch over to this side. You get the gold, silver. You see the rangers themselves with their Seiza blaster weapon there, which is cool. Once again, look at this. They're similar, but they're also different. Look at the scales going down the side. The irony being he's got scales. He is scales. Look at the freaking look at the helmet on that. That's crazy. That is very crazy. I do think that there was one suit, or somebody borrowed their buckler here for something else, and that might have been an upgrade thing later for something. It does look familiar. All right. Come around to the back. Basically, you get effectively the same stuff. It does show you left arm, right arm, which, by the way, I forgot to show on the last thing, is that everything can switch positions entirely, but it is what it is. It's a little bit more obvious with these guys. So there's all that. You get all your warnings. You get your, hey, use it with your Seiza blaster, stuff like that. And you come to this side and show, hey, collect them all down there. HEBITSUKAI Voyager, which I think Hebi, I could be wrong. Hebi, I think is just snake. I'm not sure what Tsukai means. TENBIN is there. I do love the fact that you actually get the measurements of the Voyagers themselves, which is kind of cool. And you come to the bottom. That's actually all your proper warnings and your sad Pac-Mans and things like that. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. So let's get to these boys. Come on. Get out of the thing. Come on. Alright guys, so here we have the HEBITSUKAI Voyager and the TENBIN Voyager in their kind of Voyager modes. Like, they do have a couple different ones. Actually, this one's slightly inaccurate. It's supposed to be like that, which actually does help it sit proper in his snakehead mode. And then his flying around is as the Scales of Justice. I'm just saying it that way. It doesn't have to be that way. These guys are kind of triple changers, because they have their combined mode, they have their fly around mode, and then they have their own individual bot mode, which is kind of cool. But to be fair, the fly around and find out mode, which is basically this, is pretty much their combined mode as it goes. So what we're going to do is we're going to just go ahead and check out our Hebi friend here. And yeah. Look at this. Got some big old snaky fangs. You got some kind of gunmetal-y gray there. You got that same bronze color with some green for the eyes. Looks pretty cool. If you want, you do actually have some kind of snake opening and closing effect there. You don't have, if you lock it down like that, utilizing that, it makes kind of a complete head. You don't have to do that by any means. In fact, it does tweak things a little bit if you do it that way. But, you know, you can see kind of how this is going to go. And you do have the Q-Tama, which I'm going to pull off here. And you do have the snake there. It looks like a cloud. It's kind of cool. And it is number 6. Yep. Rotate there. So you have the incomplete look on both sides. But of course, if you turn it all the way around, we do have our handy dandy light machine here to light him from behind. You can see silver in there. Looks pretty cool. Digs that. Alright, and then, by the way, I didn't show this off, so the way that the Kyutamas work, you can see there's just like a singular little pin thing there, and that will locate it there for using the cue the weapon, or Seiza Blaster or whatever. And then there's his head there, which is kind of cool. Alright, and then we'll go with the TENBIN, which is his scales mode, which is kind of cool, because you've got the pilot just sitting right up on top, which I think is neat. You know, actually with my lights surrounding it does look kind of cool. And, you know, he's got these cool shields down here that are the scales. This is technically the proper way to transform it, but I would argue that it looks cooler like that, you know. I know it's meant to be the scales, it's meant to be the thingies hanging down, you know, but this just looks cooler. Which, by the way, these swivel, so you don't actually have to turn the arms around if you don't want to. So actually, this, in my opinion, might work out a little bit nicer. I'll tab that in. So, while not accurate, technically, I think it looks a little bit better. So you don't see the hollow side of the arms. I think it just looks a little bit nicer. You know, it is what it is. Pretty cool. Like that, and that is number 4 there in the holographic thing. Oh, and then you have the scales on the backside. Sorry, I almost forgot. And then you can flip that, you know. What is it? There you go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and transform it to the bot mode. And then we'll get to the combined mode here in a minute. So this is not too crazy. You basically grab the head, flip it down, and then you grab this whole back section, and it will flip up and close like that. And there's no like clicking or anything. It just sort of holds in. You've got your arms, which you can rotate down. Flip your shields back around if you did what I did. And then extend the legs, which are ratcheted, as you can hear. And then try to figure out the best position to get it to stand, because I'll tell you what, these guys don't, well, they're very top heavy, because, well, I mean, there's a whole ass Kyutama in there, and then some. And I do have a problem with this one, because this particular elbow needs some more tension, but because it's pinned, not a screw, can't do much to adjust that. So maybe I just need to get some like glue in there and thicken up the joint a little bit. But there you go. Got his cool scale head. You know, like I said, it's kind of funny that he's the scales, but you got the snake over there who has scales, which, by the way, get that out of there. So looks cool. You can't move the head at all because it is just attached like that. Realistically, if you wanted to have the much cooler transformation, do a different thing. The weird part is like the quote-unquote scales horns are upside down there, which is funny. You got white stripes here on this side. You do have a symbol there of the scales themselves. You get silver paint and stuff like that here. Looks a bit more like a warrior. I guess in theory, if you wanted these up and forward like a shield, you could do that because they are just in the hands like that. I think there was some assembly required a little bit, if I recall correctly. I bought it used, so it was already pre-assembled in the box. But I think out of the box, brand new, there is some assembly required. So you do have a stripe down this side. You got just a big white thigh here, silver crotch piece, which is kind of cool. You can do perfect Jean-Claude. And then about that far forward. And then obviously full-on leg bend for a great chorus line. You got a tiny bit of ankle rocker here. Not rocker, but ankle up and down. So it's its own little action figure, which I do appreciate because, like, otherwise, for the most part, the only real, like, humanoid thing running around are the actual full-on Megazords, as they were. So there we go. And then I usually keep them on display in bot mode like this because I think it just looks better. And yeah, this kind of yellowish plastic is like super bright under these lights. So get him out of the way for now, and we'll look at the HEBITSUKAI. Do the same thing. They of course are effectively the same mold, but with different arms, basically, and different head shape. So nothing too crazy there. So we're going to rotate the Kyutama like so. Do the same thing where we bust this loose. Oh, I'm sorry. These knees are plugged into place there. So there's these right there. That is how that attaches. I forgot about that, and I was about to yoink it. So flip the head back, flip all of that up like so, and now he's like, no! Or I have the power! But in Japanese, because obviously. Go ahead and unplug those, and flip the arms down. And go out wide, and then figure out your leg situation, which is basically the same type of thing. There we go. Super easy to transform. And you got this cool head. Looks like snake head, kind of Egyptian. Got the red, the black, and the gold on top of the silver. Got the big crazy looking visor, which is interesting in and of itself. So yeah, there you go. Snaky face. Snake face Voyager, literally. Red line all the way down the leg. Articulation's almost exactly the same, except for the fact there's no bicep rotation like that one does. So it's the only real main difference. And then, of course, you do have blades built in, like here, that are the snake teeth, as it were. They do have molded in hands. Once again, no head articulation, nothing there. So good to go. And you got these two boys here. I don't know if they're technically, like, in the show, like, related to each other at all, or if they're rivals, because sometimes it's like, we hate each other because one of us is silver, one of us is gold, you know, that kind of thing. You know how you do, anime, or in this case, Sentai. And then I'm going to bring in our KYURANGER friend back here for size comparison, so you can see the difference on just these. So they are a little over half the size, probably right at hip height of KYURANGER by itself. So that's actually pretty cool. It's like they gave a decent size little secondary upright thing. Now, as far as I know, we do have 3 totally auxiliary Voyagers, 4 technically that just is an add-on. And all they do is swap out with the other ones. So in this case, we're going to swap out for the arms and for the legs just to show you how we do's it. So let's get KYURANGER out of the way for right now. And basically, we're going to take them back to almost exactly the modes they were just in for combined mode. So for the legs, go ahead and scrunch them up all the way, much like that. You need to make sure that the feet are in that kind of position there. So I'm going to crack this open like so, and then this will lock into place down here. Where does it actually tab in? Something clicks into place, but I'm not sure. I guess it's right here. Okay. Fold the head up like so, and we're going to put him in foot mode for right now because it's kind of the easiest one to do, if I'm honest with you. And I think it's effectively just that, but because this one arm is way too floppy, it is what it is. So there's our foot mode for TENBIN. We're going to do the same thing over here for our snaky friend. Go ahead and collapse the legs the same way. And because I did a poor job of showing it on the other ones where everybody can... I did show that everybody could be arms and everybody could be feet. I didn't show that everybody could switch sides. So, cool thing here, and I had to figure this out before I pulled out the instructions. You basically just make the snake head like this, and then just tilt it up like that, and then get the bot head up there like that. You can get it all the way vertical, like if you get it up and past here, but it does have some tension. So you can do this, which is a much tighter look, except for the fact you're not going to be able to combine it that way. So it looks cool, but it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. So we're going to do leg mode like so. Pull off our black and our blue and replace with our silver and gold like that. And looks cool. And you can see back here, you just got your scales and your snake face hanging off the back. And of course, you can probably manipulate these any ways you really want to. Honestly, like it's not that big a deal. It matters more in arm mode, which I'm about to show you. But in feet mode, I guess it just is what it is. You know, if you wanted these to be like a little bit more flat or more like the actual Voyager run around mode, you could do that where the scales are kind of up front like this, which, you know, not too bad. I'm honest, sorry, I'm just moving stuff. Snake mode, I mean, other than having the snake head laying sideways out to each side with just the blades sticking up, which is slightly less intimidating in my mind. So, you know, something like that. I mean, it makes for like a really wide foot base, if I'm honest, so maybe, I don't know. If it could tab in, it would be kind of cool. It almost like secures around the knees. Like, almost. So, I mean, like, if you do it like this instead, well, actually, it does seem like it's leaning differently now. Oh, that's why. It was sitting on top of that. Okay, so, future note, that doesn't really work. So, it doesn't really work like that. Either way, let's go to arm mode, which is different. So, once again, pull that off. Put your bull and your wolf back on. Set that aside. And want to straighten out the legs, basically. And then bring down the arms to about there. And to about there. And then rotate. I'm going to make him the left arm, like so. Or actually, no. Left arm would be that way. And then HEBITSUKAI. Basically, we're going back to snake mode here. So go ahead and pull these out. And we're going to plug them back into the pegs here. I mean, realistically, this is just going to be his standard, like, Voyager mode. But you just got to get these knees in the right spot, like that. Snakehead, good to go. Whoop. Bring that back. Like that. Knees up a couple of clicks. Like that. There. So, basically, literally back to Voyager mode. And since we're going with right arm, we're going to go like that. All right, Kira out. Haul it up. Yoink. Plug that on. Pull that off. And plug that on. I think that is technically correct. The only thing that kind of sucks is it's no connective tissue here to hold TENBIN together. It's the only problem I have with it. Is that correct? Yeah, that's right. Okay. So if because there's tabs for the shield that hold it into the arms, but as far as I can tell, there's nowhere to plug them on to like make it really secure in this mode. So it's just like that. So that's that combination, which is fine and dandy. I digs it. And you do have a big snaky claw on this side, so you can like grab, you know, try to like hiss at somebody, you know. That's kind of cool. And I think technically speaking, this just acts like one of them acts like a shield. I'm not so sure about the other one. So this one makes more sense to be like a big shield thingy. But I have no idea technically what the weapon is. Never got to that episode. Only watched like a couple episodes of the actual show. So it is what it is. Oh yeah, go ahead and rotate that way. So yeah. There we go. There is our KYURANGER. Now, once again, it would be cool if there was interactivity so it could identify which Q-Tommy you have plugged in and it could make different noises for such thing. But unfortunately, it does not do that thing. That is very unfortunate. All right, and then on the next one, we're going to be doing a singular Voyager. That's just another add-on Zord as it was. But until then, make sure you like and subscribe. Check out everything else, because there'll be a playlist available for the Kyuranger things. And of course, guys, I forgot to mention it. I did an out-the-box video for all of these back in the day. So if you want to see these things when I first get them and my initial like breakdown and playing with them with no instructions, trying to figure stuff out, check out the Patreon. I forgot to mention it, but the Patreon, I do so much more stuff over there than I do even here on any of my YouTube channels, including the Uncut podcast and stuff like that, if you're remotely interested in our podcast. So either way, that's it for the plugs. I'll see you guys next time. Remember, as always, keep on nerding.